Gina here for day 11 of our online dance, the online dance movement. Yes, get the name right, Gina. So we're going to be covering steps today. This is a little bit different today because I know that a lot of people have trouble with their knees. Not everyone, but if you don't have trouble with your knees yet, you may have in the future. And I'm going to show you a technique to help you with managing stairs so there's less stress placed upon your knees. It's a really great exercise. It's something you're going to need to go away and practice. You might not be able to get it instantly, but once you understand the concept, it's really easy and it's not going to make it less difficult at all. It'll make it easier for you. And before we start, now you know how we did the chair-based interval training, you know, based on the Dr. Steve Selig protocol. That is a cardiac rehab. Well, I thought, seeing as we're going to be looking at stairs exercise today, that I would standing up using the stairs like we're going to be talking about. And this step exercise, it's done on a step. So in the information prior to going live today, oh, hi Pam, how are you? I have put some information. Oh, I'm trying to wave, but it's not waving. Hi, Lise. I'll wave later, Pam, because it just won't press. It does that to me sometimes. So we're going to do this step exercise. Now, if you're not at a step now, take yourself out to a step. Do you like my earrings? My sister made these too. They've got faces on them. She made them so many years ago. She's so clever. One of my beautiful sisters. They're both very clever. So, hi Con, how are you? I'm going to wave to everyone afterwards because it won't press at the moment. So take yourself out to a step. Take your phone out there if that's what you're going to be using. We're going to use as I said, the Dr. Steve Selig protocol for the cardiac rehab using the step this time instead of the chair. So we're going to get a nice little workout, and then after that I'm going to teach you the movement technique for how you go up and down stairs without overstressing your knees, so alleviating the stress that's placed on your knees just from performing that activity. So let's get going. I've got my step. Make sure you've got something, a handrail or something nearby, unless you're absolutely sure you're not going to trip, because the thing with this exercise is once you get going, you think, oh, this is easy because it's not that fast, because we've done the timing already before, so you know that timing if you did that with me when you were sitting down. The thing is, when you're using a step, as soon as you get a little bit fatigued, the tendency is to trip. So you've got to watch out for that, because I can't see you. I'm only telling you about this, so take really extra care. All right, so I've got it all set up so you should be able to see me. And I'm side on, so I'm totally revealed now. Now I've got my chair here because I don't have a rail. This is an actual step. Now with a step, try and find one that's not too high, because particularly as this is the first time you're doing it, I want to make sure that you're very safe, because as I said, as you get fatigued, you can trip. So on each 1 minute interval, I'm going to increase the speed. We start at 48 beats a minute, just so you know. It's not fast. And hi Mary, how are you? Hope you're feeling better. Hope you're feeling much, much better. And so we're starting at 48 beats a minute, and then when we get to 1 minute, we're going up to 56, then 8 more beats, 64, 72, 80. I think that's 8 beats each. Anyway, they're the numbers. So we do 5 minutes worth of those, and then we have 3 minutes rest, and then we do it again. Now, as I said, this is the same protocol we followed. Now, before we start, just as a little extra thing, seeing as, you know, we're doing a bit of learning today. What time did I start? Oh, good grief, I'm hopeless. All right, so before we start, let's take our heart rate, our resting heart rate while we're sitting down. So just put your fingers inside, under your thumb, like there, and try and feel your heart rate. And we're going to look at the clock and count how many beats you can feel in 15 seconds. Okay, when you found it, I lost mine. Lost it again. Okay. When I twist around, I lose my pulse. Anyway, that's what you do. So you count how many you've got in 15 seconds, then multiply it by 4. So that's your resting heart. And you probably already know about that. So what you can do is when you finish this first 5 minutes, take your heart rate again and see what it's up to. And then when we've finished the entire exercise, take your heart rate again. And then 5 minutes after we're finished, take it again, because that's your recovery rate time. We might not do all of those bits today, because you can do that when you practice it at home. But when you finish this exercise, it's 5 minutes post-exercise, after the exercise finishes, to see how quickly you recover. That's a real key to your fitness. I'm about to sneeze. It's lucky there's nobody around. I didn't, me, because I don't want to sneeze on anyone, and I won't get you, so you're fine. All right, let's go. So, you've got your resting heart rate. This is the speed. All right, we've got our chair. I've got my clock. Okay, and go. Up, up. I'll make it a bit louder. It's not that loud, is it? How are you going? If you get too puffed, just stop. Okay, going up. 56 now. Watch you don't trip. You can start with the other leg on the beat change if you want. If you started on your right leg, I'm going left, right, left, right. Don't like this side on view, oh well. Pick those feet up. Okay. Change feet. We're on 64 now. Is this fun? Keep breathing. You shouldn't be too breathless yet. Okay, 72, change legs. It's actually easier than the chair-based one we did, isn't it? It's easier because of the hip flexion not being so extreme. Okay, getting ready for the last interval. Right foot leading now. This is the last one of that set. Okay, now we've got 3 minutes rest. So I'm going to keep my eye on that clock so I don't lose track of the time. Now, what you can do is you can take your heart rate now. Just see how you're going. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And what was I going to tell you? Oh, yeah. So in terms of how difficult this is for you, if you imagine a scale and at the bottom, say number 6 is really, really easy. This is the perceived rate of exertion scale. Sounds so complicated. It's just a scale to see if it's easy or it's hard. So if it's 6, it's really easy. So that's good. And you'll feel it gets a bit more difficult. So I might go up to 7 or 8 or 9. If it gets to 18, if you feel like it's at 18, that's right at the top. And you'd be really, really feeling it. That's too hard. So for the purpose of what we're doing, we want to get to about 13. So it's moderately hard. You might not even get there, you know, because this exercise, remember, was designed as a cardiac rehab exercise. So it's not for the very, very fit. And, you know, you might be really, really fit, but it's still a really good exercise. And once you've learned some technique after we've finished doing this, you can apply that as well. So let's just see how we're going. We've got a couple more minutes. The other thing you shouldn't do is in the 3 minutes in between, you shouldn't be doing what I'm doing. So this is a very bad example. We don't want you to sit down straight after you've done that because we don't want the blood to pool in your legs. So what you should be doing is just walking gently around or stretching out your legs, you know, or doing a little bit of gentle stretching out of the legs. Don't actually exercise because this is an interval training exercise and that would defeat the purpose of this protocol. So when we get to 3 minutes rest, you'll be ready to start again. And remember, the idea is that you're going to, if you can, start with, you know, the right foot or the left foot and keep going. And then on the next minute interval, change the starting leg. But you don't have to. You can do it all on the same leg if you want to. If it, you know, it might be too difficult to coordinate for some people, and that's all right. I hope you can hear this metronome because I'm further away from you than usual. Put the tablet back away from me because so that you'd see the whole view of me standing up. And you can probably see some of my oven in the background. See there? That's a wood stove oven. An old Aga. It's a pretty beautiful old piece. Yes, but it runs on wood, so you have to have the wood, don't you? You have to chop the wood, and I don't chop wood. I tried, but I'm not very good at it. So I'm going to go down now because we're just about to start again. Okay, hope everybody's feeling good with this. All right, off we go in a second. Yep, we've got 3 minutes and we'll wait just till the hand comes around again to the halfway mark. Lift up nice and tall. Before you've learned the technique, we might as well do that. I've got my hand on the chair. Have a rail if you can, just for safety. You're just learning this, remember. And when you put your feet on the step, make sure you plant them nice and firmly on the step, not half on, half off. Okay, let's go. We're at 48 beats a minute. Thank you for being here. I do love it that you're turning up. I think a lot of people watch this afterwards because when I have a look on the page, there's lots of people who look at it, but there's only a few people who actually show up live. Okay, let's get ready. Left foot. Well, actually, some days we've had more than a few, which has been quite exciting. For me, anyway. Watch you don't trip now. Watch those feet. If you did the chair-based one when we did it, let me know if you find this easier or the chair-based one. I'd be interested to know. I find this much easier. Much easier actually. All right, getting ready for 64 beats. Change legs if you can. Okay, keep breathing. You should be getting up to not as high as 18. Remember, no higher than 13, which is moderately hard. You should be breathless a little bit, but you can still easily talk. Okay, getting ready. Left foot, if you want to change. We're up to 72 beats now. How's it going? We're on the home stretch. Keep breathing. All right, we're getting close to the change now. Change legs. This is the last one. You did it. Yay. Hi, Con. I can't wave yet. I'm waving at everybody at the end because it wouldn't press properly. belly there. Okay, that's it. We've done it. So as I said, don't sit straight down. Just, you know, stretch your legs out. You do tiny little straight leg lunges. You can do tiny bend, not much. Tiny bend. You can simply just walk slowly around. And you'll do that for about 3 minutes. Now, we could take our heart rate right now. But I think, why don't we take it? Yeah, let's just take it now. Just standing still, just gently. Don't sit down. You can get an idea of what your heart rate is. And so then you know, you get a bit of a guide for how you're going with this. And what you might find, or probably what you will find over time, is that it's going to help to improve your level of fitness, your general level of fitness. And the other great thing about this exercise, it's been found to stabilize blood pressure, lower hypertensive blood pressure. So that's great. Anyway, is anybody feeling a little bit puffed? I'm feeling just very, very slightly puffed, but that might be because I'm sort of scrunching down and going up. But yeah, I can feel it a little bit. I feel a little bit warmer. Now, what time is it? I think we could almost go straight on with this now. I'm just going to move this step out of the way and bring my chair back, and I'm going to teach you some technique next. So I hope that was good for you. Put that away. And unless I can just put my, now I better move it. I'll just drag it. Comes apart. Okay, so I've got the chair here. Who's that who's just come on? Hi Ornella, how are you? We've just done our interval training with the step. So you can watch it again later if you want. Now, it's so lovely you're here. I love you being here. All right, now with our step, we're going to be applying the same principles that we've learned in the Alexander technique. Now, sorry to just go on and on about this, but it's really great to get this ingrained. So we might as well just go over it and then we'll apply it. And the more you do it and the more you apply it, the more it will become second nature. And you'll just get it. It'll just be so easy for you. All right. And how good is that? You know, just to imagine that you don't even need to be that strong. You know, have you seen those really, you know, quite old people who seem to still be able to move easily? And you can see, looking at their bodies, they don't have a lot of muscle tone because they're very old, but they just have this beautiful movement efficiency about their movement. And it's quite rare, but it's certainly possible. It's certainly doable. I want to be like that. I don't want to be stuck in a situation where I'm sort of like struggling to get up. I'm not criticizing anybody who's got like that already. It's just it's very, very hard to try and rehabilitate that because the joints are already kind of set in place there. So let's work to avoid that as much as possible. All right, so with the Alexander technique, we're going to be, let's stand up, and I'll actually go back a bit. I can go back. So we're standing up. Allow the neck to be free. And if someone was going to move your head, they would be able to do that. It's really difficult to allow somebody else to move your head. If you get somebody to try that with you, you'll sort of feel like you have to move it. So you allow the head to release. Allow the neck to be free. Allow the weight to go forward and up. Now, when I say that, I don't mean that you're standing on your toes or the balls of your feet. I mean that you've got this feeling of, I'm going to move forward. You know, if you're watching a performer on stage, a good performer, you might feel them coming towards you. Well, it's a similar sort of thing that I'm talking about here. So if you're standing on your 2 feet, feel if your weight's back. Is it back? Is it forward? Too far forward? Is it on the outsides of your feet? Is it on the insides of your feet? It should be right down the center of your feet. That's where your weight should be. But with this feeling of going forward and up. So allow the neck to be free. Allow the weight to go forward and up from the top of your head. Like you've got that water fountain going up your spine, at the top of your head. Some people say a helium balloon. You could think of that as well. Allow the back to lengthen. So feel your spine all the way down your spine. Allow the back to widen. Just feel it widening. As you would if you were lying on the floor. You know that feeling of widening the back? Allow the shoulders to fall apart. Just effortlessly fall apart, which is really different, isn't it, from pulling them back? We don't want you to pull them back. It's not going to achieve this active lengthening through relaxation. It won't. It'll just jam things. So allow the shoulders to fall apart. Allow the hips to release. So anyone who's holding tension in their lower backs, you will perhaps notice this when you go to allow that tension to just disappear from here in your lower back. All right? So we've got our hips, our feet hips width apart, and so feeling the Alexander technique. Now, I've talked about the core. I haven't actually really gone on into teaching you how to engage the core yet. I don't want to do that just yet. I would prefer us to get the feeling of imagining you're in the water up to here and that lifted feeling you get in the water. It's a beautiful feeling. So that for us is engaging the core. And you should, if you're doing that correctly, you might start to feel something happening below your belly button. If you can't, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. But if you do, you're really, like it's all really happening in the right way. All right, now with the wing bones, I think everybody here has done that. So let's look at that as well, because we're integrating these things now. This is a really technical class. I hope that's okay with you, but I'm glad to be doing it because I know it's really valuable. It's really worthwhile to know this stuff. So drawing the scapulae down, the wing bones, draw them down. And when you do that, don't do this. Don't do this to do it. Stay where you are. Feel the filling of water coming up to here. Draw those wing bones down. Now, to test that that's working fine, you could just let the arms float up and down and still feel those wing bones drawing down at the same time. This is something you can practice separately. But if you're going to integrate all of these things together with the Alexander technique, you'll have the most beautiful movement efficiency. Now, we'll just quickly go over the hip stabilization just to remind you about it, and that is externally rotating the legs, but just a little bit. I don't want you to go, we have to do this because she said to externally rotate our legs. No, subtle, it's gentle, it's just a little squeeze so that you feel this, the movement of the legs going in an outward rotated way. This is the part that a lot of people miss when they're giving instruction about postural movement techniques. They miss this bit because I suppose they've got it, and look, I'm not criticizing them, they've come from a different background. This is something that I learnt in ballet that, you know, a lot of people in ballet don't really understand it either. So, you know, and I'm not saying, oh, good, Gina, you know this and nobody else does. It's not that. It's just that, you know, I this kind of thing. So when you externally rotate this, it's just a tiny subtle movement, same as the feeling that lifting, like you're in the water. And so you've got the core engagement and the scapulae drawing downwards. It's a little movement. These are all subtle movements. So if we put these together with the Alexander technique, we've got the most beautiful stabilization. So do you know the reason we do engage, or we work to engage the core abdominals? You know the reason for that? is so that your spine will be in its own neutral spine. And the neutral spine is, you do have a little S-curve. That's normal. We're not aiming for a flat back. That's not normal. And when they used to teach people a long time ago, probably they still do, to lie on the ground and flatten that spine to the ground, it's kind of dumb because, I mean, why? You know, that's not how our we can't use our bodies like that. Who else has just come on? So, all the same people just sort of saying things. Thank you, that's lovely. So we're putting all those together. Now, if you think about that, when we're going to be stepping up and down a step, if we transfer our weight so we're standing on one leg and you just lift your knee like it's a puppet, like you've got a string on your knee, and you come back and you don't alter the technique we've just learned. This is the whole key to it, you see. So transfer your weight and just let that knee lift up gently. So when you're going up and down stairs, which we'll do now with the step, I'll have to bring it back, won't I? We're going to be using the Alexander technique, and we're going to be using our legs like they are almost not attached to our body. So we can keep our body, it's like if you open the doors to a house, or if you open the door to the house, does the house move? No, it doesn't. So when we move our legs, it's like we're opening the door to the house, but the house is not doing all of this, you know. And if we're going upstairs, we're not doing this. The legs are moving like a Russian dancer gliding on the dance floor. So I'm going to bring this is a bit cumbersome. I'm going to bring the step back and we'll just go over this. But once you practice this, I know you'll get it, and I know you'll know, because you'll be able to use the Alexander technique while you're doing it. Now, the thing about going up and down stairs is you actually lean forward slightly into it. You actually, see what I'm doing? And when you're coming down, it's the same thing. You don't lean back. So a lot of people going up the stairs, they sort of, I don't know what they do, they sort of kind of go like this. I can't do it anymore, but you're going to lean slightly into it. So let me get my step back. Ooh, we've been doing this for a while now. Sorry about the noise. Get this into view for you. I think that's right. Okay, so I can only show you on one step because that's all I've got here, but hopefully you will get it. And then you can go outside, unless you're already at a set of stairs, find a set of stairs and you can practice this. So I'll bring my chair around, so I've got that. It's better to do it with a handrail. So let's just practice going. See what I'm doing? I'm lifting up and over that leg. So lift, it's lifting. It's using that whole thing of the core where you're feeling the water lifting up. So if you lift up, lift into the movement, let that knee come up like it's got a puppet string and come up and stay lifting up. If you went to the next one, the same thing would happen. See how I'm slightly leaning forward, and to come down, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to lift into it. And as you do that, it takes stress away from the knees. It truly does. But you need to be lifting up from the core. It's really very simple, but it's not that simple to do if you haven't learned the Alexander technique and you haven't learned how to integrate those movements together. But seeing as you've been coming along to the classes, I think you know how to do that. Now, if you have any questions at all, please pop them in the comments. I'm happy to go over anything we've done today. I'm happy to help the people on this call individually if you want me to. I can do that, no problems at all. But just you lot, special treat for the ones who are here. I'll just show you once more. So we allow the neck to be free, allow the weight to go forward and up, allow the back to lengthen, Allow the back to widen. Allow the shoulders to fall apart. Allow the hips to release. Now, feeling you're lifted, integrating these things now. Lifting up as though you're in the water. I did forget something. Head. Slide the head back without taking the body with you. Slide the head back. Feel the muscles activate at the back of the neck. Now, pick the knee up and keep the weight forward over that knee. Forward over the knee. And lift it. Then come up. Pick the other knee up. Keep lift, lift, lift. And you continue going up the stairs. Now to go down. Once again, we're going to do the same thing. Pick the knee up and over that leg. So you're not back here, are you? Up and over. So you're slightly leaning forward and then coming down and the same down. And this lifting takes the stress away from your knees. Okay, that's it for today. There was no music. It was just all technique and all walking, and I think that's it. Anyone got any? Hi Jenny, how are you? Thanks, I'll have to leave now. Oh, that's okay, Pam. Hi Emma, you've just come on. I'm just about to go, but you can watch this. This is really good information for alleviating the stress from your knees when you're walking up and down stairs. So it was a bit technical today. There was no music. There wasn't any actual dancing, but we were doing the Alexander technique, and I think it was a good one. Anyway, I will see you again tomorrow. Bye. Lovely. Hang on, before I go, I'll wave to everyone. Wave, 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 wave. Who's that at the top there? Oh, wave. Okay, see you tomorrow. Thanks for being here. Oh, and one last thing. If you know anyone who would enjoy these classes, please share this with them. Please, I would love them to join me, because if they can get something out of it, the more the merrier. Bye.